Sunday, March 31, 1889, The New York Times. Fire on land and water. One life lost and much property destroyed. Nearly $250,000 damage, mostly to the Standard Oil Company plant. A rolling column of thick black smoke ascending from the neighborhood of Long Island City early yesterday afternoon proved that another great oil fire was raging in that district. It was the Empire Refinery, one of several such establishments stretched along the Long Island shore from Newtown Creek to Astoria, belonging to the Standard Oil Company, in which the fire originated. A steam still, of which there were 3 on the grounds, used to draw off the naphtha from refined oil, exploded from some uncertain cause, but probably on account of a leak in the pipes connecting the still with the many tanks in the yards. It immediately set fire to the oil in one of the tanks adjoining, and to the oil-soaked building in which the boilers and engines were situated. James Nolan, a fireman 23 years old, a single man, was coupling some pipes just behind the tank when the explosion occurred. He was struck on the head and felled to the floor by some of the fragments of the still. The flames seized so suddenly upon the surrounding property, all of a highly combustible nature, that nothing could be done to save him. His charred body was taken out of the ruins about 3 hours later. Thomas Crean, another fireman, was at work in the same place. He succeeded in reaching the street, severely burned about the arms and legs. He was sent to his home at 127 8th Street. Efforts were promptly made to draw the oil off from the tanks most directly exposed to the flames, but the season is a busy one with the company, and there were few vacant tanks to receive the oil, so that not much could be done in that direction. In an incredibly short time, the flames were roaring skyward from half a dozen tanks, covering nearly an acre of ground. The oil, which burned with a vicious fury, overflowed the tanks and, running in flaming rivulets down to a slip known as the Standard Canal, spread over the water a layer of flame. This communicated with the docks and adjoining property, and in a very few minutes, before a single fire engine had appeared, 5 buildings, a lighter loaded with oil, and the dock along the canal were burning fiercely. The Standard Oil Company has a complete fire apparatus at each of its works and several tugboats that are fitted with powerful pumps. 4 of these boats, the Astral, Nonpareil, Brilliant, and Daylight, quickly began playing upon the flames, reinforced by a dozen streams from the fire-extinguishing apparatus and the volunteer fire departments of Long Island City and Astoria. The Long Island Refinery, on the opposite side of the canal, also threw a dozen streams upon flames along the dock. All of this did not avail to extinguish the flames. The firemen could only prevent the fire from spreading beyond the limits of the district already in its grasp. One after another, the tanks caught fire until 10 of them had been destroyed and their contents had gone up in smoke. The burning oil running along the surface of the water set fire to 4 adjoining buildings. When the fire had burned itself out, it had laid waste about 6 acres of ground, thickly covered with manufacturing establishments and storehouses. The Standard Oil Company loses about 5,000 barrels of oil, 10 tanks, an office building of brick, 2 stories high, with its contents, an engine and boiler house, machine shop, tool house, a vast quantity of machinery and shafting, and the dock structure. Its loss is closely estimated at $170,000. The New York Iron and Chemical Company's shop, an institution on Vernon Avenue, at the head of the Standard Canal, the property of William J. Matherson, was burned out without salvage. There was a 2-story brick and frame structure in which scrap tin was treated chemically to remove the tin from the sheet iron. The loss was put at $40,000. F.W. Hughes of Boston had a storehouse for flower pots on the dock. It consisted of 3 large frame structures. All were consumed. His loss will be $5,000. The New York Manufacturing Company, which made sash weights out of scrap iron, lost a frame storehouse valued at $500. Ex-assemblyman George E. Bulmer lost 3 large frame storage houses worth about $1,500. H.D. Wade, a manufacturer of printer's ink, in 2 single-story brick buildings, suffered a loss of $500. Altogether, there is a total estimated loss of $217,500. Besides this, nearly 200 men are thrown out of employment. Some of the workmen insisted that there was likely to be another body found in the ruins, that of an unknown man who had but just gone to work in the refinery, but the officers of the company denied that this could be true. Every man engaged about the premises was accounted for, they said.